You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete. Intelligent System Analytic Computer is activated. All ISAC systems are confirmed online. Data scanned. Downloading files.
What's up, guys? You're listening to episode 119 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of the Division. A new shield got announced today, and we have news on the upcoming patch 1.8.3. And today we're going to talk about loot. But first, my name's Mike, and joining me are my co-hosts, Robert.
Hello.
And Luke.
Hello.
I hope you're both well, and our listeners have had an awesome week, and welcome to any new listeners of the show.
I quickly want to give another shout out to the people that have supported us over at our Patreon this last week. It's massively appreciated by the three of us. If you haven't already and do want to support the show in any shape or form, head over to patreon.com/SITREPRadio. We'll be posting weekly images, outtakes, whatever you want to call them, whilst we record the show over there. And we're also planning on doing some live video work from Gamescom. So that'll be Patreon viewers only as well.
Well, I think it's going to be Patreon viewers first, but I mean, if you want more information on that, I did put up a quick video, I think, was it yesterday, with regards to what we're hoping to do at Gamescom. So if you're interested, go over there and check it out.
I can't believe how quickly Gamescom's coming around. It's going to be awesome!
I can't believe how quickly Rob's wedding's coming around.
The old ball and chain. She didn't listen to this, right?
No, she doesn't.
Good.
No.
Good.
I'm sure Rob's mum and dad will tell him.
Oh, shit, yeah. Hi, Mr. Hemsley.
Right. Let's get down to some news.
State of the game.
Okay, so straight away we have double HVT rewards happening this weekend, and it will run from today, which would be Friday on release of this episode, till Monday.
Nice.
Also, we do know there is a global event happening in August. It will be Strike. There is no release date at the time of this recording. However, put your heads together. It's probably going to be the end of August.
28th.
What do you say, lads?
28th of August. Go on it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, take it away, Rob.
Yeah, the shield is called the Pheonix shield, and it's survival.
Yes!
So, survival week, and as like what they did with Underground, they're going to make the DLC free for a week, so if you don't have survival, go check it out for a week, get your shield. Yeah. I mean, the requirements aren't too difficult. I think you've got to do 5 hours in survival, you've got to extract 5 things, and you've got to kill 5 hunters, I believe.
So a couple of runs, maybe?
Couple of good runs, yeah.
Yeah, if you're good at it, yeah.
A couple of good runs like we had the other day, Rob.
Yeah. I'm always getting the runs. It's bad.
God.
I keep catching it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I need to stop hanging around with you. But yeah.
None of the shield requirements are retroactive, so you have to, if you've done this already, just do it again. Yeah.
I like that, actually.
That's it, really.
I like that they're not making it retroactive. Gives me another reason to go and kill noobs in survival. I'm looking forward to this.
With regards to retroactive, I hope they don't make the one with commendations not retroactive. It'd be funny if they
God,
did.
can you imagine? Everybody's been grinding out towards that, and then it's like, yeah, by the way.
Well, no, they wouldn't be able to do that.
No, I know.
I was messing. Calm down, Rob. It's okay.
Just literally saw his head
It's
explode,
okay.
and you're like, no, you're wrong.
You'd have to start another character, Rob.
Ooh.
No, accommodations account wide, dude.
You have to start a new account.
You'd have to buy the game all over again.
Fuck that.
We'd literally have to get on Xbox.
Have to buy an Xbox. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Shit.
God. But yeah, me and Rob had a pretty good run at Survival. Was it Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
I streamed it.
Yeah, hour and 40 minutes we managed to survive for in PvP. We didn't see anybody there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were the only ones in the server, dude.
No, dude. Somebody made it to the dark zone before us, and then we didn't see anybody after that.
But they didn't.
Well, we
they
didn't
must
see
have
anybody
died
anyway.
straight away because there was no landmarks taken down.
There was a lot of meds and loot as well, and resources. So yeah, they must have just been like either died or just left the game.
I was lurking in the stream and I heard Rob get really excited about the commendation that he ticked off for not killing anybody during survival PvP.
I ticked off quite a lot of commendations. Just
Yeah,
in that one run. I think I did about 4.
Nice.
You did the freezing one. I can't remember.
Yeah, I bought all the clothing so you didn't have to worry about being cold.
Good idea.
Yeah. It was a good run. I really enjoyed it.
How was it going into survival and not running into the contamination zone within about 10 minutes?
Well, I made sure I built that. I built that extra filter
Just in case.
just in case.
No, it was really good. Freaking hunters went down damn quick as well.
Yeah, they did.
But, like, we could have kept going. We were about an hour and 40 minutes. We had, 20 minutes left each? But we could have kept, like, farming. It was just,
Yeah, it was late. We wanted to go to bed.
yeah. It's like, shit, I didn't realize how long we'd been in here. But no, it was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. And now the shield's there. I'm looking forward to jumping and doing that. And I did, 2 other shields this week. So I'll have all
you're
6.
up to date, aren't you?
I am up to date now.
Jeez, I can't believe you've actually been playing the Division all week.
Damn straight.
Damn straight.
No, it's been good fun. And I'll say now, I got the house. And I was pretty damn happy about it.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I remember you talking about this. Tell the boys and girls what role you got, Michael.
What was it? It was Unforgiving and Sustained or something like that.
Nobody's interested in what the talent is that you're going to get rid of. Obviously, you're going to make that a god roll house. So, GG. Well played.
Yeah, and then me and Rob were like, well, you've got a house now. You'll definitely be OP in PvP. Maybe we should go do some Last Stand.
Which I also really enjoyed.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but my striker build wasn't working very well because it wasn't made for it.
For Last Stand, don't we?
After the Pheonix shield is finished, then we'll have to play a bit more Last Stand because that would get me and Mike quite a lot more commendation points. And you too, I guess, Rob.
Yeah, I've been barely played it on PC.
Yeah.
I honestly really enjoyed it. And like we killed some people, so it wasn't like it was entirely OP. You know, we did alright, I think. What was it? We got 8 to 10k in that match.
Kills, yeah.
Well, not 8 to 10k kills. We had like points. If you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
we weren't
doing the
we weren't
PvE
the bottom
stuff.
of the leaderboard. Let's put it that way.
No. We were like level 1 or something. So there was other people at the bottom of the leaderboard that were like higher level. It was just like, yeah. But I really enjoyed it. There was no way we were going into skirmish, no. No way.
See, we are going to have to play that as well.
I'm up for that.
I'm up for that, but I wasn't going in with that build.
We'll get Boris in, team of 4. Let's go.
Damn straight.
I've
Anyway.
got a Lone Star build. I can rock on PS4.
I could be that guy that runs the Pred build, since I finished my Pred build this week, because I didn't finish my goddamn Sentry build.
I'll say this. Pred was pretty prevalent in Last Stand. Yeah. That's why I got killed by more than Striker. And somebody using a Historian.
Yeah, someone was rocking full firearms Historian. He was like 3-shotting people.
Nice.
Like, what the fuck?
I like that, though, that people are using builds that are outside the box, even just a little bit, it's not the meta because it's not Striker or Predator.
But ages ago, I got ripped for using Firecrest, and you guys are like, yeah, but it's pointless. But it's not the fact. I know it's pointless. I just wanted to use Firecrest, which is a shame because I've always liked the Firecrest build. It's just unfortunate it isn't that great. But we'll have to see what happens with update 1.8.3. Speaking
of, there's still no release date for update 1.8.3 as yet, and when it does go live, they will not be putting it on a PTS first. So once it's ready, it will go live. Just to recap what they've said before, this update is addressing the striker meta, the running in place bug, and some showstopper issues that are or may not be bugs or just whatever, but no real balance into that weapon. There's absolutely no detailed information as yet what the changes to the striker gear set are going to be. They're going to do the skirmish expansion stash that will be available for everyone, and
that was basically an issue where people that hadn't bought the
they
DLC,
got rid of it and it came back.
Yeah. Do you remember ages ago there was an issue where
I remember. Yeah. So
they didn't have access to the DLC, but then couldn't do something because they couldn't.
They were locked out of skirmish because they didn't have expansion stash.
I was reading that, like reading it before. I was saying it out loud. I was like, I'm pretty sure they fixed this. Are we screwing up here? But you guys,
no,
just
it came back, and
me.
now they're just going to make the stash available to everyone.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like Petter and Yannick were both like, who knew it could come back? You know, I think they're pissed off with it just as much as anybody else.
This is like a zombie bug, then. This one. It's back from the dead. And lastly, they announced there will be a couple of quality of life fixes. The example they gave was the rainbow accommodation, where you need the grey items and the exotic items and the green items, blah, blah, blah. Basically, you won't need to delete a character to achieve this accommodation anymore.
No, it's either grey or exotic that you can equip now.
Right. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's good. And also, I think it was announced yesterday. I mean, obviously we knew that the Division would have some sort of presence at Gamescom in it was a week and a half, something like that. It's not long to go. They are actually part of the lineup at the convention in Germany from the 22nd of August to the 25th of August.
Woohoo.
Which I think we're looking forward to because we're going to
going
be there. All three of us.
Yeah, baby.
We're gonna be queuing with our fishing shares.
You're pretty hyped for those fishing chairs, aren't you?
I am. I don't want to stand in queue.
Are you taking a fishing rod?
No, I don't like fishing.
But yeah, there's going to be, I think they said 360 pods. Whether that's PC or console or whatever, that's a lot. That's a lot of space, isn't it?
Yeah, 360 PCs, I'd imagine.
Well, could be 300 Just Dance machines.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to go. And but yeah, we're going to Gamescom and we're really looking forward to it. Any thoughts from you guys on Gamescom and you obviously Ubisoft and the Division being there?
Just super hyped to actually get a look at and hopefully play Division 2, to be honest. That's kind of the whole point, isn't it?
Yes.
Nice.
Rob, are you looking forward to seeing it on PC, hopefully?
Yeah. Be nice if we get a chance to meet some of the devs as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to keep our fingers crossed and see what happens on the day. Okay, moving on to this week's discussion. So it's been an ongoing topic in the community this week, and we also got sent the question by General Kenobi PSN, who says, "Hey guys, been catching up on episodes and wondering if you could tackle the most important question of Division 2, loot. I think we can all agree that the Division never really got this right. It was too stingy and it's now too easy to get loot. What do you guys think?" Does anybody want to grab that question by the horns?
I do agree with General Kenobi. I don't think they ever got it quite right, but I liked it more when it was more stingy. I know I will be disagreed with quite a lot by people in the community for that comment. But on the flip side of that, there are a lot of people that do agree with that as well. We've had this discussion in our Discord before. I've seen this discussion on Twitter before. It will no doubt come up again before Division 2 is released. To me, the game was in one of its better times loot-wise at 1.3. I know, obviously, the NPCs and that were doing crazy damage back then. But when you used to run around the dark zone or, from missions or whatever, and you got an item that you actually needed, or, when the rare high ends dropped and the even rarer gear set pieces dropped, you actually felt like you'd accomplished something. So doing that mission or getting that extraction off in the dark zone actually meant something. Nowadays, you only have to walk down the street and kill a couple of trash mods, and there's maybe a gear piece set waiting for you at the end of it, which I get why they did it towards the end of the game's life cycle, but in maybe 1.4, 1.5, it felt like a bit too early. So
I'm just going to jump in and say, like, I completely understand what you mean. But the other thing, the amount of loot we've got is down to the amount of loot that's actually in the game as well, isn't it? You think how many gear set pieces, how many high ends we've got exotics, you've got random rolls on all those things as well. I mean, how much of that is just wasted loot drops? Half the time it looks like loot's just dropping for you, but how much of it is actually good? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, before classifieds were introduced, the actual chance of you finding something you could use was not that high.
Well, the chance of actually getting something at one point was low anyway. I'm pretty sure back in, what was it, the 1.11 update, they did 100% drop rate on certain NPCs to get more loot out of certain pieces of content.
But
at some point it was so scarce.
They clearly haven't found that sweet spot yet. Hopefully they will in Division 2, because obviously I agree with Luke. I think I preferred it back 1.3 days when it was quite pre 1.4, I guess. It was quite stingy, and you had to do certain activities to get certain loot. I mean, I think that's a good thing, but it didn't help that those activities were super difficult because the NPCs were super broken, and that kind of led to all the exploits happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people just couldn't be bothered to, because it was the nature of the game. It was like picking up a pug group and doing certain activities was near impossible. So that's why a lot of the community went to exploits, I guess. Like, everyone remembers the old NPC, like the old APC bug where you could on Falcon Lost back in 1. Was it 1.1? 1.0 maybe? No, 1.1. That's when Falcon Lost came out.
1.1, yeah. But there's been lots of things like that, hasn't there? I mean, I remember when Last Stand launched and people were using, what was it, Reclaimer to boost the score to get the caches from it.
Because I think it had your healing box would heal your Seeker Mines, so yeah, you got points. Yeah.
Something we used to do back in the day, you'd get 16-man Lex runs, which was kind of fun. But if the grind's too difficult, it does lead to people trying to break the game. And the downside is the Division is a looter shooter. It's an RPG, and you have to grind for loot or through content in these types of games. But it does seem sometimes that not many people want to do that yet. There's the flip side. People complain when everything's handed to them and then they've got nothing left to do. And it's definitely a difficult situation, because I agree with you guys. I really liked back in the day when, we'd go farm certain locations. So you'd go run, I don't know, Lincoln Tunnel for a Striker's piece, or you'd go run Russian Consulate for a Sentry's piece. But now, you've got the chance of getting that drop in everywhere. Or you'd go run Falcon Lost for exotics, or, it's just amazing how much it's changed if you think about it. And the other thing as well, we have more content to get loot from than we did back in 1.3. What do we have? The Underground? And a couple of incursions?
That's another thing that makes it hard for them to balance the loot. Is the loot pool, because with every update they brought in new gear sets, didn't they? So they keep adding to the loot pool. So they had to do something about the loot drops because of the chance of you getting the one piece out of however many gear sets, and say you needed a pair of gloves for those gear sets, that's 6 pieces of that gear set you might get from said activity, and it's just insane chance. Like, it just makes it very difficult.
I think the problem that we might have now is that there's not much incentive to play different game modes to obtain different loot or resources for the game. Like, I remember when we used to do DivTech runs. Do you know what I mean? And now it's farmable pretty easily. It drops for you. I know, Luke, that's something you used to love doing. You just jump in the dark zone and then go on DivTech runs, or go take a landmark out.
Just another excuse to go in the dark zone, dude.
Well, yeah, apart from that. Yeah, but it made it, as bad as it kind of sounds, it forced people into that content. And that was a good thing. I like this idea of, it sounds bad, but I like the idea of having dedicated places to go get certain loot, certain resources. And I really do hope that happens again in the Division 2. But I do think it's not just a case of the fact that they're being overbearing with the amount of loot that we're getting. It's just the amount of loot that we've got. I mean, it's just how much of it is actually worth picking up, is actually useful to use.
I'd like to see them make stuff drop from certain activities that will then make that activity easier. If that makes sense. I mean, like when they release the raid, the gear sets from that, or the loot you get from that, should make the raid easier to do. Just
something like,
I was literally going to say the same thing when you were talking about gating loot behind content. I was like, well, the big thing that we're getting in Division 2 that we've not had in the Division is the raids. My only experience of raids before is the one raid we tried in Destiny 2. By all accounts, that's not the best raid to use as an example, but
no, at the time when you tried it, none of the loot would help you.
Yeah, but from what you've told me of Destiny 1 before, there was loot gated behind the raids that was worthwhile doing the raids for. You used to raid every week, Rob, on Destiny, didn't you?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they got that right in Destiny 1. They got that right with the last raid. With the last 2 raids, really. But the 2 first raids, you kind of got PvP stuff, which didn't really make any sense.
Right. But were you still happy with the idea of good loot being gated behind, what is essentially the hardest content in that game at that time?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'd love to see that for the Division 2, to be honest.
How do you guys feel about blueprints coming back into the fold? Would you like to see blueprints return in the future in crafting items?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any reason behind that?
I think it's a good way of getting gear that you again feel like you've earned, because if you've earned the blueprint like you used to have to do with the blueprints in the Dark Zone, so that you unlocked them at certain Dark Zone levels, and I know, I'm sorry, I'm using the Dark Zone again as an example. Yes, the blueprints were shit that you got for it, but you felt like you'd earned them. Like when I first got my first character up to DZ level 99, I felt like I'd accomplished something. I didn't know that the blueprints at that time were going to be trash and useless, but they were what I was aiming for, and to tick that little commendation off for being level 99. So, yeah,
I think. Sorry, finish.
No, I was just saying I would like blueprints to be good. If you can't necessarily get all the loot you want from the content that we hope it's gated behind, blueprints could be the other way in, rather than just giving loot away for free.
And if the blueprints are good, they need to have a fairly large grind behind them, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Well, grind for the blueprint itself, but then obviously you need the materials to use that blueprint. So the weapon parts and
double grind.
Double grind, yeah, exactly.
I guess it depends on how good the weapon system is in the Division 2, because the system that we have at the minute is not really based not 100%, but I don't think it's based on like real world aesthetics of the actual weapon itself, where the weapons in the Division 2 seem like they might be more balanceable because of the, do you know what I mean? Like the damage drop off, and they might be working the stats on the RPM of the actual weapon, not having like overpowered weapons with loads of stats and additional bonuses and things like that on it, which like will mean blueprints could come back into the fold, and you could have blueprints for all the weapons that are viable apart from exotics. If we even have exotics in the future, we don't know. But I do think blueprints should come back, and I do kind of miss that era that we had where we'd go out and find a blueprint and then spend ages trying to craft the perfect vector or whatever it was back in the day to go run PvP or run PvE content even.
Do you know what made blueprints more viable back in the early days of the Division that I seem to remember was that guns would land from the loot pool, and there would be no way of changing the talents. The talents weren't rigid on the weapon, so you would always get different talents when an M4 dropped, for example. But once you got them, you were stuck with them, weren't there? There was no recalibration for weapons, I seem to remember, in the early days of the Division. And if you got a blueprint for a weapon, that was the easiest way of getting a better version of that weapon, wasn't it? So that might be a route that they take, maybe. I'd kind of like to see that, I think.
Yeah, as long as they don't, because when crafting was first about, it was super easy to craft, just like you didn't have to use much materials, did you? They changed the material economy quite a lot. In one of the updates, I can't remember which one, but it made a big difference that you couldn't just sit there and make thousands and thousands of guns.
Yeah. But again, with all these evolutions of the first game, they'll have been learning every time, won't they? So they'll be, cherry picking the best bits of each bit to put into the new one, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, 1.4 was like a huge change itself, wasn't it? Whether that was in a good way or not, I definitely think at the time it made a huge difference to a lot of people, especially, I'm guessing, more on the casual side of it. And made it easier for people to put less time in it and still be rewarded just as much as those people that are playing for hours on end. I do think something like the GE as well, the GE itself is a great way of combating some of that loot problem, because it gives you locations you can grind to earn decent loot like it was back in the day.
If they are going to put something in the game again like the GEs, I think that would be an absolutely excellent way of once a month, here you go, here's a week where the loot will rain from the sky, and then once the GE is over, back to being stingy Scrooge McDuck on the whole loot thing. Because then, I always found it hard for myself to agree with what the casual players were saying. Oh, it's not fair, we don't get enough time on the game to learn all the loot that you guys are playing it for 4 hours a night and stuff, because I was one of the people that was lucky enough to play it all the time. And that's selfish, I know, I'm sorry, but I just couldn't understand it from the other side of things. So if you were having the best of both worlds, you'd almost certainly get rid of, not all of that argument, but a lot of it.
I think it goes, we know plenty of people that don't get a lot of time to play this game as much as perhaps a lot of hardcore players that put 3, 4, even more time than that into the game itself a night. And even they are of the same mindset, they don't want to be handed everything on a plate. I think it comes from that idea that people want to go in the DZ and you want to have the best build possible to be able to do that, or to do the other content, do the hard content, but they want it now, and it's kind of like people are impatient a little bit. To the team that's actually balancing the loot drops for this game, I feel so sorry for them, because at the end of the day, players need the carrot on the stick to play the game, but you can't make it too hard that nobody wants to play the game.
Do you reckon they'll ever bring scavenging back?
Depends at what percentage depends on what percentage it works at.
There was loads of myths about that, wasn't there? Like if you had to have 101% or something like that.
You have to have over 100% for it to work.
Man,
but you aren't.
I was just going to say, sorry, I forgot all about scavenging. I forgot that was even a thing back in the day.
Rob reminded me of something I forgot about today as well. Can you remember what that was, Rob?
Oh, initial bullet stability. Remember that being a stat roll?
I never quite understood what that meant.
It never worked. Never worked in the game, but it was just there. It was hilarious.
Man, I love this game.
But it is crazy to think how much this game has changed since launch. Like, I said to you guys, like, I don't remember 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 being that much of a problem. Like, we'd fight through the content.
It was tough, dude. You have forgotten how hard it was. I
used to
go in the DZ and a cleaner would be able to like melt you in a second and a half from 3 blocks away, and then they throw a gas grenade at you the next time you came out the checkpoint, and you'd be straight back in that same checkpoint again. But that, I mean, I could bang on about how much I liked 1.3 for hours because it gave the game a challenge. But
remember,
now looking back at how much content we have now, some of that content would be fucking impossible if it was still at 1.3 NPC levels.
Imagine the legendaries.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Can you imagine Stolen Signal?
I'd bring back Old Reclaimer, as I say. Old Reclaimer was awesome. I had an epic Reclaimer build back in 1.3. Used to get us through freaking Falcon's Lost.
Which I still think is one of my favourite.
Mine's still Dragon's Nest, but that's because my favourite NPCs are the cleaners. So,
I thought you were going to say because your favourite 2 people were, you met them.
No, I wish I'd not played it that day, to be honest.
Son of a bitch. So we're all in agreement. Weighted drops are good.
Yeah.
I think they'd be good.
Yeah.
I think they'd be good.
What about the amount of loot that we're actually getting at the minute? Do you want to see that for the future of the Division?
I think that needs to scale with how much loot is in the game. When they add more, they need to increase the loot drops.
Great shout. Shout, that.
Needs to be, exponential. I guess. Yeah. Linear? No, linear.
I got to be honest, I mean, watching that gameplay footage from the Division 2 that we've all seen, it doesn't appear to be like what it is at the minute. So I think they've probably learned that too much loot is not a good thing. But we'll have to see. We'll find out in a week and a half, I guess.
Maybe. I think you'll find out an awful lot. No, not unless they're going to give us something at Gamescom that wasn't necessarily at E3. But I
don't know.
I honestly don't know.
I don't think we will. I don't think we'll see the.
Don't tease me,
just
Rob.
Tease it Lick right now.
I don't think we will.
I don't. I listened to.
It's going to be the same demo. I reckon.
I listened to the Upside Down podcast today. Shout out to those Aussie guys. Much love. They had Uber Timmy on again, and they were talking about, because obviously he's played Division 2 at E3. Lucky bastard. And it was Josh and Wilco were talking about how they wish they could have gone to E3 and they wish they were going to Gamescom. And Josh is of the opinion that he thinks there will be slightly different gameplay at Gamescom and that we might find out some more information. But all 3 of them are in agreement that they'll probably keep the Dark Zone under wraps until either just before or during the beta comes out. So
they might not say anything. They'll just launch it. And
man,
there you go.
That would be epic. I'd love some surprises. I'd absolutely love it. They're like, you motherfuckers, you didn't tell us this was in the game.
I know Rob would like that as well.
Yeah.
Well,
so if someone that doesn't care about spoilers, well,
personally,
he wasn't happy.
Personally, with Division 1, I wasn't in all the hype before it came out. I literally learned about it the week before it was coming out with all like the TV adverts. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. I might pick that up. So the whole game was a surprise to me. So we're going to eat all the content that they put out for Division 2 up until it was released. So I would, if any devs or anybody from the PR department are listening, please keep some secrets. Please.
I think the cool thing for us this time is we actually know what the Division is. Where going in the first time, we didn't really know what it was, apart from it looked really cool. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I realized that there was an end game or anything at the time, or even bothered looking into that side of it that much, if you know what I mean. It was kind of cool. The Division knows what it is, whereas maybe it didn't so much at the start. Anyway, let's get some questions and get off to bed. General Kenobi PSN. Thank you very much for another question. Well, 2 questions. In fact, it says, currently I'm running Tactician build, and it's by far the most fun I've played. Are you worried that with all the changes in Division 2, we simply won't have the option to run a skilled build like Tacticians? That's the first question.
No, I'm not that worried, because for what we've seen from the Division 2 thus far, a lot of people made the assumptions that would be a problem, and people on, like the devs and that, Thailander specifically on Twitter has said, don't worry about the build diversity for Division 2. The specializations don't take away from that. You will still need your brand pieces and your gear set pieces, etc., etc. So I'm initially not worried about that. Rob?
I'm not really a big skill build player. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about it.
but like,
so I haven't really thought about it, to be honest.
But is that because of the meta that we're just not skill build players?
No, I just like face tanking stuff.
But you can't. A lot of people have said you won't be able to do that next time. So, do you think you could become a skill build player?
I'm gonna try.
Leroy.
Oh, I'm dead again.
Oh man, if we can get some Gamescom footage
of me dying,
you die. Yeah.
It's going to happen. You know, all 3 of us are just going to run in, start face tanking shit, and go, "Oh wait, damn."
Yeah. Secondly, the 1 to 30 experience was one of the best and most balanced experiences I've had. However, doing it 4 times completely sucked. Can Massive please let us hand down max level weapons to our alts so we can get through the grind faster?
Try doing it 8 times.
I don't think it's going to happen. Especially if they go with that sweet twist at the end where you choose between SHD and Rogue.
That's purely speculation at this point, by the way.
That's all in your head, right?
I just thrown it out there. There's still time to put that in. It's just like be the last 30 seconds of the game.
Living in a dream world, Neo.
I think if anything, I want a reason for there to be 4 alts, not just for inventory spaces we've had in the past. Would you guys agree?
Yes, I'd like that, to be honest. An actual reason to make.
Assuming we can have more than one character.
Yeah, assuming we can have more than one character.
Ooh. Little twist there, Robert. I like it.
But then Destiny does that. You can hand stuff over to that character on Destiny, can't you?
Weapons, you can.
Yeah. You have to grind for the actual gear itself, don't you? Because it doesn't drop.
Yeah, the armor's not compatible with each class.
I guess that would depend. I mean, it would help you level up. I guess it depends how brands and if they're applicable to like specializations and stuff like that. We don't know how it's all going to transfer over between alts.
Well, the 1 to 30 could be so good you want to play it 4 times.
Hell yeah.
Or 8 times, even.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Spickbeats, aka Boris. Knowing that we have some of our community managers and they will be out at Gamescom, are you all on a mission to find them, giving them big-ass hugs and getting them drunk with Rob?
I feel like letting them get drunk with Rob might be a mistake, but I'm definitely up for the other bits.
Mike thinks I'm going to get you all arrested. He told me that more than once today.
That is a true statement.
Once this week, sorry.
I wouldn't worry about that. You'll be in bed by 10 o'clock again, mate. We won't get arrested.
He's like, for fuck's sake, you're bringing that up again.
So it's standard.
Yeah, hopefully. We'd love to meet up with them. That would be really cool. It's a long way to go. I mean, we were going to Germany and we weren't 100% sure if the division was going to be there, so that would definitely be a bonus. And
I'm definitely going to give Boris a bear hug.
Yeah. Boris is getting
squeeze the life out of him.
Boris is getting a massive hug, and then I'm going to tell him to fuck off again. Because that's how me and him greet each other on Discord. So, it's tradition and all
Hugs
that.
and insults.
I'm really looking forward to tasting Boris's beer as well. And that's not a euphemism before you guys start laughing.
Would you say it's going to be frothy?
I hope it's cold.
A pale ale.
Oh, no. See, you just had to ruin everything, didn't you?
Straight from the tea.
Next.
Mick ... asks, thanks for all the love and support for Locked On Boys. We will see you next time you come here to Japan. That's a throwback to last week's episode. If you haven't heard it, go back.
I nearly completely lost my shit when you said that, dude.
Yes, but you know there was a reason behind that being the first thing I threw out because I couldn't say the other thing, so it's fine.
I didn't know it at the time.
Apologies.
It just confused the fuck out of me, and I just started giggling like a little schoolgirl.
It's fine. It confused me as well. But yeah, that's it for questions this week. However, I don't know if you heard about this, but we got slightly challenged by another podcast that we might have called a bunch of cunts last week.
Oh, they're
lovely bunch of cunts.
Lovely bunch of cunts, yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know them, we're talking about the Division Central podcast. You can find them at Div Central Pod. And they threw out the challenge of doing a speed run of Lexington, and their completion time was 6 minutes and 22 seconds. And the challenge was thrown to us, Bombshell Jackets, and Locked On.
Can I just say right now, they cheated. They did it during the global event, so that just makes everything easier. So we have retorted and said they need to do it again on PC without the global event modifiers on. Then tell us what the time is, and then we'll beat it.
Yeah, then we'll smash it.
Did you say with 50% or more of the cast?
Oh, it's got to be 50% or more. I mean, we're going to be at 75%, aren't we? So.
Oh yeah, I would say 100%. I mean, all four of them.
Yeah, but how can we do that?
No, not on about us.
No. You can't do that. No.
So you're saying 75%?
50. Let them do 50. They might not have more than 2 people on PC. Just saying.
Luke's breaking stuff in the background. Luke, Rob, what do you think of that call out?
Yeah, I think we'll beat them. I've done that mission so many times. I could probably do it with my eyes closed.
I'm not saying anything.
I want to know. Oh, you've already said you're not going to say anything. I'll ask Rob because he's not a pussy and we'll answer the question. Who do you think will win it out of all 4 of the podcasts?
Probably Bombshell.
Nah, we will for sure.
It can't be Bombshell. They've got Fox.
It might take us a few tries, but we might beat it.
We invented speedruns. Come on.
True story.
I don't think we invented them.
It's our idea.
Saying it now, we invented speedruns. In the division, anyway.
If we fail, I'm blaming you guys.
I'm liking the cross podcast challenge, though. That's a great idea. We didn't invent that idea.
I will say, if anybody else wants to get involved in this challenge, throughout your times, tweet us at SITREPRadio Pod on Twitter.
No. You've got to make a podcast first.
We just did. All right. Fuck. I hate you both. Let's go.
Mike's tired, everyone.
Oh,
fuck you.
It's been a long
kid
night.
Looking sleepy.
It has been a long night, which you'll find out soon. Anyway, thank you very much to...
You can't say that.
Shut up. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions. It was fucking 11:20. We don't normally record this time of night. Thank you to everyone that sent in a question this week. We appreciate it. And the topic of discussion, it's been awesome. Robert, take it away.
You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, as well as our personal accounts. Send any questions or feedback for the show to sitrapradio@gmail.com, or you can find us on the Discord. The link's in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and topics we cover, so be sure to leave a comment and join the discussions in any of those places.
please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We genuinely enjoy reading them all. The feedback is excellent. And, at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our show. And if you listen all the way to the very end of the show, you will hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you!
We do live stream as often as we can. If you've noticed recently, what did we do? 2 weeks in a row? Couple of days a week. It's been going well so far. So if you are interested in dropping by and chatting with us whilst we play The Division and some other games, you can find us all over at twitch.tv/SITREPRadio. We have been SITREP Radio. Thanks very much for listening, agents, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing a Mash Those Buttons podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to subscribe to one of our shows, you can find us on multiple podcast platforms across iOS and Android. Just search for the show on a podcatcher like Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts and hit subscribe. If you can't find us on your favorite podcast platform of choice, just go right to the mashthosebuttons.com website, grab the RSS feed, and put it into your podcatcher of choice. If you want to check out some other podcasts you may enjoy, you should check out mashthosebuttons.com/shows. For World of Warcraft fans, we have 2 podcasts, WoW Talk, which is our news and community podcast, and The Torn and the Goblin, which is our lore and story podcast. If you enjoy Overwatch, make sure to check out Watchpoint Radio to keep up with the latest on Overwatch and its community. If you enjoy fighting games, make sure you check out Double Tap for the latest in the FGC. If you're a fan of The Division or looking forward to The Division 2, make sure you check out SITREP Radio. If you want to keep up with the latest at Mash Those Buttons, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/mtbsite, facebook.com/mashthosebuttons, and youtube.com/mashthosebuttons. We'd also like to have you join our Discord community, so just go to discord.me/mashthosebuttons and join us for a chat. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete.